Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode, actually a collaboration between Matter of Opinion, Vic 76, and Afrobeat Life. Of course, I'm Walls P.
Yeah, my name is Vic 76.
Yes, my name is Delento, the Afrobeat Life. It's in the background somewhere. I hope it's there somewhere.
Now, today's collaboration, we're going to be talking about a sensitive topic, which involves Dave Chappelle, because lately in the news, that's been a very hot topic with his comedy special, The Closer, that he did. And he was receiving a lot of backlash from the LGBTQ community. With that being said, you had things that were said from Trans Hollywood. One of the things they said was, we watched it. Dave talked about how disgusting trans women are, how disgusting their bodies are, and how he tortured a trans woman until she had to scream that she was a human, and then she killed herself. Wake up, this is bigotry. You're all a part of it. And then by GLAAD, Dave Chappelle's brand has become synonymous with ridiculing trans people and other marginalized communities. Negative reviews and reviewers loudly condemning his latest special is a message to the industry. That audience don't support platforming anti-LGBTQ diatribes. We agree. And there's a bunch of other people saying random tweets, saying that this is negative and how they want to cancel Dave Chappelle, things of that nature. So with that being said, how do you guys feel about the Dave Chappelle special? And do you feel the backlash should be warranted? So which one of you guys want to go first?
Yeah, I think it's unfair that they trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. It's like anything you say against the LGBT now, it's like they ridicule you, like they're trying to force that lifestyle in to people, to children. And they use the perfect president in Obama because they attach the black suffering in America with the LGBT. So if you ever said anything about the LGBT, they quickly they look at it like racism. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
That's why they use a black president, because if you say anything against LGBT, it's like saying something about Obama. And attaching with so they're attaching a lifestyle with the suffering of people in America. You know what I'm trying to say? And I find that kind of unfair. It's ridiculous what we're going through in America, man. It's very, very sad. When you have the LGBT having more power than anybody else right now.
Yeah, that's true. What's your take on it, Delento?
So I watched the comedy show. I actually think I've watched it about 4 times now, and every single time I watch it, I just can't stop laughing. I just can't stop laughing. I think first thing, Dave Chappelle's humor is a little bit different from everybody's humor. So some people might not get the humor. I get the humor quite well. That's why a lot of people are calling him the GOAT right now, just because of the way he talks, the way he puts his comedy skits together, his ability to put things together and make it sound so interesting and funny. It's amazing. It's amazing. When it comes to the cancel culture and them going against him, I think in the beginning of the show, he even said, this might be my last show. That shows you that, he actually didn't take that much time for him to create this skit, right? This last episode, because the cancel culture didn't start, was like about a month ago, right? So that's true that it took him about a month to write the entire skit that he was going to put on a Netflix. That shows just his genius, right? His ability to write and make jokes. And so when he came up with this new show, this one, he started talking about, oh, I'm here to plead for the ransom, or to plead to get the ransom back, or to basically help release the baby. And that's the reason why I was doing the show. That was hilarious to me, right? And then it was like, oh, what people don't know is that this is not going to affect the baby's reputation, because his career and his reputation, because the baby killed and shot somebody in Walmart, and his career was fine. Although, if you go back and learn the story about the baby and what happened, it was self-defense, right? It was self-defense problem. But he didn't need to talk about that. Like, we didn't know. I didn't know he shot somebody anymore. But that's part of this comedy. It will come at you, in a negative light, but it's still funny, right?
Yeah.
At first, I was like, shoot, this guy is like really going against the baby. Like, he killed somebody in Walmart. But hysterically, he's trying to say that, listen, first of all, it's not going to affect his career. Secondly, a black man got shot and you didn't get canceled. But you say something sensitive, you get canceled.
Yeah.
A black man got killed, you didn't get canceled. But you say something sensitive and emotional, not killing anybody, you get canceled. Now, and actually, we can't say it's not killing anybody because we know, trans go through a lot. They have a large amount of suicidal rate and all that stuff. So you saying stuff like that can also affect somebody and might cause somebody to commit suicide and all that kind of stuff, right? But in the literal sense, since we don't know what this comment is going to be or where it's going to go, it just how comically was talking about that. There's some things that even to him are more important than someone saying stuff like that, and that even us as a public, it shows where our priorities are, right? That is a sensitivity that we are taking more serious than someone getting killed in a black person, which should be, which is our major as Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
That's our major goal and our major call. So that was one of the things he talks about. And then he went on to talk about many other things, about for him, right? And one of the reasons why a lot of people like the show and some don't like it, the reason why a lot of people like the show is because naturally, right, everyone feels one way or the other in terms of
course,
emotionally, this is what we are all thinking, right? It's called the barbershop talk, right? So the barbershop talk, right? In the barbershop talk, Dave Chappelle was basically saying that, listen, all the conversations I'm going to be having with you are things people talk about in the barbershop, right? If you change your face, if you change if you remove your vagina, if you remove your penis or your ding dong and change your vagina and you get breasts, you are not viewed as a real woman, regardless of how you think it is, right? Most people, like barbershop talk, that's what people talk about in the barbershop. They talk about they don't respect that kind of stuff because every man, regardless of you, her, we all came out from a vagina. And that's the respect we all have for what women are, right? And then he started making jokes. He talked about that, the vagina that women have, or he calls it pussy. The vagina that women have is beyond pussy.
Yeah.
And beyond pussy is beyond, like when they had those beyond stuff, Impossible. Is it Impossible Burger? Remember Impossible Burger?
Yeah.
Impossible Burger by
yeah. All franchise related, Burger King and stuff like that. Yeah, that's like a going thing.
It's because they used what's it called, plant-based to make the burger, and then they call it Impossible Burger because it's not real burger. So what he was saying was this part of you is not really you, right? And it's okay. I mean, it's not really a woman to us, It is to you. Yes, you're changing yourself to feel better, but it's not a real woman. And then it was one thing he talked about is we shouldn't overthink compassion. We can have compassion for you because you're going through a process, but it's still not something that we cannot laugh about or talk about.
So in other words, what you're saying is we respect the fact that you going through your transition and stuff like that, but you can't turn around and be mad if we think differently.
That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
Like, you can have your ways of. I mean, we understand what you're going through on a day-to-day basis, right? But regardless, this is the way we think. We can have compassion for who you are and what you're going through. We know that for you, it's a deep thing, it's a strong thing, it's a very emotional thing, and we can have that respect. We can still have that conversation and say, yo, to me, this is not what a real woman looks like. And that the world should not be so sensitive about everything that's going on, and really take things for face value. Understand that people can have a conversation about something, but their end goal is not to offend you or make you feel bad.
Yeah.
And then I'll go from there. And then also, one thing he was also talking about is he said something. I read some tweet by him. I can't remember in particular. He said that we need
Dave
to
Chappelle?
understand. Yeah, Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
He said we need to understand that because we don't agree about everything. Doesn't mean we have to be enemies.
Yeah.
Right? If you smoke weed, if you do drugs and all that stuff, I don't have to be your enemy. This is your lifestyle.
Exactly.
If this is what you do, I don't have to be your enemy or be against you. That's your lifestyle. We can still be friends, platonic friends, that this is who you are as a person, So understanding everybody's difference is very, very important. Understanding everybody's difference, but still taking them as human beings and still loving them as a person is one thing he's talking about. So don't be so emotional when somebody is looking at you differently or thinks different of your opinion. Someone can be different from your opinion and think different from you, but that doesn't make them hate you or dislike you. That's one thing he's trying to say.
Yeah.
And then he also talk about, I'll let you go and then I'll talk after that. He also talk about some other thing later on. I'll add that later on.
All right. This is what I grabbed from it. Number one, I just wanted to speak on what Trans Hollywood said when they said we watched it. Dave talked about how disgusting trans women are, how disgusting their bodies are, and how he tortured a trans woman until she screamed that she was a human. When I watched the special, he did none of the sort. He didn't talk about how disgusting trans women are. He didn't talk about how disgusting their bodies are. He didn't torture Daphne. No, we're in a time now where you got to be sensitive about saying anything towards trans. Which, okay, fine. You want everybody to make sure they watch what they say or whatever, because there's other groups you got to watch what they say also. But now we're making it cross over into comedy, where comedy is the one place where all bets are off. You can pretty much say, I've watched comedy where white people said the N-word. You get what I'm saying? And it's all fun and jokes, whatever, because it's comedy. So it's like there's an exception to the rule on being offensive or whatever the case may be. There's an exception to that rule or whatever. See, what I gathered from his special is pretty much what he was saying was, which he stated in the special, he's pretty much envious and jealous about the respectability that the LGBTQ community have and at such a fast pace, whereas the Black community is still fighting for these types of for these types of cancelization or whatever, or respect when it comes to treating Blacks bad or whatever. And that's pretty much what he was getting on. And he also stated that shows the divide that we have in the Black community, because the LGBT community, that's one thing I got to respect from them. They band together. When it comes to, you come against us, they band together. They have all their priorities in order. Whereas us, we don't have a priority in order. Everybody have their own separate agendas that they want to cover. And if everybody's divided, you can't have that same fight. So that's one thing that I got to say in respect to that or whatever. But with the LGBT community, I understand some people were sensitive about it or whatever, but number one, it was comedy. And number two, I honestly believe that people having an opinion about something should not make you have your panties in a bunch, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, we are all entitled to our opinion. No matter how you slice it, it doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I don't respect you as a person. It just means this is my mindset. I'm not going to treat you any differently, but respect my opinion just as I'm going to respect you as an individual, whether if I got to speak to you, if I'm your friend, whatever the case may be.
I know we're in the middle of the call already, or the conversation already, but I want to introduce one of my friends, Juwan, also known as LL Cool Juwan on IG. Say what's up. By the way, it's a vegan also. So if you have any vegan questions, you can ask him.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. I might definitely have to hit you up for something, because that I was thinking about, doing the vegan thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, peace to everyone. I just want you guys to know I joined in maybe 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
I didn't really get a chance to hear anything prior to that.
Okay.
When
Okay.
I came in, you guys were talking about Dave Chappelle and the cancel culture. So
Yeah,
I don't really know what the topic is, honestly.
Pretty much the topic is how the Dave Chappelle special is getting a lot of blowback from the LGBTQ community and how they're looking to cancel him. Did you watch his special?
3 times
Okay.
already.
Okay. So I guess my question to you is, the question with the conversation we're having is, do you feel the backlash he's getting is warranted from the LGBT community, and how did you perceive his stand-up special?
One, I think the stand-up special is genius. I mean, okay. I like Dave Chappelle. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Dave Chappelle. I think he's very funny. I think you know what he actually does, but for those that might not know, he does something similar to what Dick Gregory did. Dick Gregory is if you know Dick Gregory,
yeah.
He pretty much used jokes to tell you what's going on in the life of Black folks. right? He'll tell it straight to white folks' face, but he was being funny, but he was telling you the truth.
Yeah.
That's what Dave Chappelle has done with the last 4 specials.
Yeah.
It's only
Mooney
that.
like that too.
Yeah, Paul Mooney too. Yeah.
Mooney. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you know those people, then you would know, like, okay, he's being funny, but he's being dead ass serious.
Exactly.
With the LGBTQ, I mean, is it warranted? Absolutely not. But I mean, people are entitled to their feelings. I think when it comes to the LGBTQ, people have to understand that the people doing the cancel culture or the big crowd are not regular people. Like regular gays and lesbians or whatever, they watch it, they probably find some of the stuff funny.
And you know, it's crazy. When I looked on YouTube, a lot of the people from the LGBT, especially the trans, who did like what's the word I'm looking for? Reaction videos to the special.
Yep.
They actually were like, "Yo, I see nothing wrong with this. This stand-up. It was good."
Yeah. So it's almost like, who are these people? Like Riza Islam, he said something recently. I'm not sure if you know who that is or not. He said that there's a bunch of people on social media. Social media is not real because you don't know who's behind that profile.
That's
you don't
true.
know if they're white, black, pink, whatever it is. So the whole LGBTQ canceling culture, I mean, who have they really canceled successfully? Really. So I just think they try to draw people down, but I think the reason why it even becomes so I have a tendency to kind of go in and out.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Really quick. For example, you said that Dave Chappelle said that he was jealous of the LGBTQ because they've been able to progress and getting the reparations and a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And the reason why they've been able to do all of that is because white men are interested in the LGBTQ. That's pretty much a hands down about it. White men like the gay stuff, the lesbian stuff, all of that traces back to ancient Greece, Rome. That's all into their culture.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So because Vic, you see where I was going with this, right, Vic?
Yeah,
you want to ask them? Go ahead.
Yeah. If black people say that they're the first ones on the planet, wouldn't all that gayness come from them?
Now, good question. I can answer that. One, it's not just black people that say that black people are the first ones on the planet. Pretty much any scientist with a brain will tell you that. So it's not even just us saying it, especially when we had. I know that. Yeah, especially when we had centuries of no access to information. So everybody says it. But I do not think everybody comes from black people. I'm one of those that don't believe that because I think that we are just different people. I don't think white people come from black people. Now, some people can sell that story and say, oh, they come from us. But I don't think that because if they come from us, that means we're capable of certain things that they do. And I don't think black people are capable of that. That's one. Two, our bodies react differently to different things, right? You can sit there and you can eat steak all day. You might not get cancer. They might, and they will get cancer. So I personally feel like we're different people. So to answer that, I wouldn't say that they come, because black Africans are the first people here, that means the homosexuality comes from us. No. And to back it up with history, you can literally study a lot, if not any major African history, thousands of years ago. When it comes to homosexuality, you're not going to see any statue that has man and man. You're not going to see that. What you are going to see, if you go to ancient Greece, Rome, you're going to see the priest with a little boy around his leg. You're going to see man and man. You're going to see those kind of things. So I'm not judging them for whatever it is.
Nah.
Historically, we know we never had statues. I mean, secretly, maybe you had some people that were homosexual, sure. But we weren't out there like statues, man and man, lover boy, and all that stuff.
See, Vic took it into another question. That wasn't the question I have. So Vic threw me. He blew me back with that one. I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. The question that I had was what Vic said earlier, because I understand you said like, the LGBTQ community, that's something the white people are backing, so to speak, right? So then what do you say to when Obama was in presidency? He's the one that basically made it all these laws and everything protecting the community.
Well,
can I say something about that? Let me say one thing before you say that. Let me say one thing, then I'll let you. First of all, you guys don't know the background of Obama, right? How was Obama able to make it to presidency? Who were the forces behind him? Who put money in his business? Who put money in his name? People don't know what's behind them. So when that law came to pass, I was like, yo, it's basically simple. These are the guys that put him in power. They were the one that did all this campaign. They were the one that funded all this progress. I mean, we black people were there to do the voting and put our hands in it. But before it got there, we didn't give him money before it went through all this when he was doing all this campaigning. Most people didn't think it was going to be anywhere. Or it was going to make it anywhere. But the guys that were behind him, supporting him, giving him the funds, giving him the support, and the background at the group. I'm not saying they're all gays and lesbians, but I'm sure it's probably a mixture of both straight people, gay people that also have their agenda and wanted to push an agenda. Which to me, when that law was passed, I had nothing against it. I'm a Christian, I'm a devout Christian, and it's not something I support 100%. But there's one thing I know by myself, by the way God has done things, and He allows human beings to be human beings. Exactly. It doesn't come around and start striking you for lying. Doesn't strike you for doing something negative. That's what they call the laws, the principal laws of life, right?
Yeah.
Like if you work hard, you will do well, you make money. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, if you do those three things, you make. So there are a few laws in life that need to progress according to nature. So when he was the one doing that, making that law or being in charge of that law, it's like, you guys don't know the group that was behind him, that supported him and put it into power. And so because of that, you cannot fight him for what he has to do. And also, when blacks came to this country, right? When they came in as slaves, there were many titles. They said black people were not human beings, right? But they said we're not human beings, we were animals. So for us to deny another group of their rights would be us being hypocrite, basically, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't allow us to vote. It took us years of fighting to get the right to vote, right? And rights to many and freedom, right? And then for us to be in power and also not be allowed, basically, or not also allowed that group or the gay group to also get their own right was something that was inevitable based on the group that was behind you, and also because we also fought for a right and we got our right. So not giving someone else their right, we basically be making us an hypocrite. That's where I come from.
And don't get me wrong. The reason why I asked that question was just so people who are watching, they have the answer to the question. That's the reason why I asked that question, so people have the clarity. But yeah, you could go on, Joanne.
So I understand the question fully. I'm one of those black folks that I'm not a fan of Obama. I personally think the only thing Obama really did was kind of sell hope. In terms of, he lets black people look at him like, listen, I'm a black guy, I'm up here, you can do the same thing, you can go as high as you want in life. And that's fine, because people need that. Aside from that, policy-wise, I think the LGBTQ got a few laws under Obama. The police, when it comes to people trying to retaliate against the police, he signed a law to protect the police. So which law specific to black people? None, really. Every time you ask him a question, he's going to say, oh yeah, what we're going to do is this, what we're going to do is that. I did a few things that affected minorities. White women are minorities, right? So they're slick with the terms that they use, right? Women are minorities, Asians are minorities. So whenever Obama would say something like, I do something that's for minorities, but it mainly affects black folks. You got to understand that if black folks are already at the bottom of the food chain with white women, with Asian women, or whoever else, when you do something to empower all of them, because black folks are still at the bottom, you're lifting everybody else high. You're lifting black folks higher too, but they're not going to get that high because they were at the bottom to begin with.
They're still pretty much where they started.
Yeah. So all of that was just story to me. I'm not a fan of Obama at all. Like I said, I think he did sell hope, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Black folks need that. We also got to understand Obama's half white, right? So when you say, oh, why did he give those laws away? I think he's half white. And I think Dalento's right when he said that, who actually put him in office, right? It's easy to trace those things and there's nothing wrong with it. Black folks just got to do the same thing. We got to start putting people in office, because who are you going to be more loyal to? Huh?
That's all. We need to do the same thing. That's it.
Because for example, let me digress really quick. Asians, for the most part, they support only Asians, right? I have zero problem with that. We just got to do the same thing. A lot of Hispanics, they support themselves. A lot of Hispanics, they support themselves. I got no problem with that. We just got to do the same thing. You understand? We don't keep that same energy. So
I
I
know.
don't think it's racist if a Spanish guy or a Hispanic guy wants to marry a Hispanic woman. You absolutely should. I got to keep the same energy with my black women.
Exactly.
You know, so now back to the topic before. Yeah, I think he's definitely half white. We got to think about the people that put him in office, because when you put somebody in office, it costs millions of dollars for them to run. So now you owe them something, you got to pay them back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how politics is. As a matter of fact, I think etymologically speaking, politics goes back to, like, I'm thinking a Latin word which means do for, like, do me, I do you, pretty much. Do something.
Squid pro quo. Squid pro quo. Yeah.
So, once you understand a few things, it's like, I don't trip. Like Biden right now, he's giving everything to Asians, and he's giving everything to, the LGBTQ, because they're big. They have a lot of money that they fund these people with. So of course they're gonna get laws, because they spend the money to get those laws. You know what I'm saying? But us.
Let me say something. See, right now I'm so happy where the space of the African American community is, right? We're growing, we're becoming bigger, we're becoming stronger every single day. Black businesses are coming out of the woods, billionaires are being made every day. The richer we become, the more our voices will be. See, when you don't have wealth to talk about, wealth is very important.
Let me disagree real quick. Let me disagree with you real quick. Black folks are the most educated in America, right? As far as our GDP, we also spend the most in America, right? So that tells you being the most educated doesn't mean you're making the smartest decision with your money, right? So we have the money, but like I just said, we put the money in the pockets of everybody else. Black folks being billionaire means nothing if you're spending your money at Louis Vuitton every day and you're not spending money with black business. So we can have all the money in the world, but if we're not spending within ourselves, that's really where it needs to be. We need to be able to practice group economics.
Because put it like this:
but
if every black person in the U.S. said we're not going to spend a dime today, the economy would crash like crack. And when I say crash, I mean like done.
Yeah.
So we, like, as far as like money for spending, we control that. We're the biggest consumers.
Yeah, but because you're the biggest consumer, doesn't make you a good person. Doesn't make you.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
It's not smart. It's not.
That's my point.
It's not. You're making his point.
It's not something to be proud of. Because we spend more than we save.
We spend more than we save. The other communities save a lot of money, and then they can invest in things into their own community, like build roads. Manage. How come all the banks we're using are not black-owned banks? How come we don't have banks in our black community that are owned by black people? And those are the things that really, really we need to look into. And the progress African Americans are making right now, I'm happy about. I think we are moving towards a magnificent livelihood that in the future, in the next 10, 20 years, we'll be in a good place to say, oh, we have developed. I think that the last 10 years, the progress that we've made, I've been the fastest I've seen since I've been in America. I'll just say that.
Well, I mean, I think I agree with you to some point, but I think that people are looking at money as progress, right? All these black businesses opening up, fine, but who are they banking with? They're still banking with white folks. It doesn't mean anything, right? If 1,000 black businesses open up and we don't go out and spend our money there, that doesn't mean anything. Only 2 cents or 3 cents out of every dollar goes into the hands of black people. Every night, the rest of 9 cents goes to white folks.
It's going to take whatever else. That's true. But it takes time, though, right? Right now, they open their business. When they succeed, they start making more businesses. It takes time. Like this is a big ship, right? It's a big ship moving at 2 million miles per second, or whatever you want to say. To turn it, you can't just allow. You can just ask it. You can't ask it to make a left turn right away, right? It's gradual, right? So you have to start biting off the apple, right? So the first bite is let's start our own businesses. That's the first bite, right? Because there's so many things that stops you from owning your own bank. You must have enough capital to own bank. You must have. Oh yes, I think he said he has to go, right?
I'm here. No, I'm here. I can hear you.
So there are many things that have to come into play before we can start oriented, and I respect you, June. I think what you're saying is very, very good, right? In terms of what we need to do. And so the process is there. That's why I said the growth we are making right now and the progress we're making right now are significant and are really, really beautiful. And over the years, the process will become so much stronger. Over the years, you're one of the people that are not saying only shop black. Before you, in the next 5-10 years, you were not saying only shop black when you were dancing at Zonto and eating cheeseburger 7 years ago. But over years, we've grown, we've developed, and we're becoming better creation over the past 10 years. And that's why I'm praising the past 10 years of what blacks have become.
I hear.
Sorry, go
ahead. Let me say, I hear everything that you're saying, but the reason why the statement was made that we control basically the currencies because we're the biggest consumer is if we wholeheartedly wanted to make these changes, we can flex our weight with that power. So guess what? If you want changes, everybody shut down. We're not spending a dime till we get what we asked for. So I hear what you're talking about. Yes, everything is all good or whatever, but it still comes down to banding together. Because if black people band together and said, yo, we shutting this down, because what do the LGBT community and everybody do when it comes to what they want? They shut stuff down. So if we shut...
They can do that because they have the capital to lure on. They have the backing.
Kenny, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying. This is what, let me just say this real quick. This is what I'm saying. You have people in the hood barely making ends meet, but yet you see them with Jordans, you see them with Louis Vuitton, you see them with all this stuff. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying with the capital, but if you don't have money, but you see the new iPhone come out, those people who basically live in check to check or living off government assistance, they sure find a way to get these high valued or high priced things. So if everybody want to band together and put their foot down, you can do it. It's just, are we all on the same page to do so? Because when it comes down to it, everybody's like, well, I'm still paying my rent. I still got my car. I'm still paying my car note. I'm good, Joe. So y'all fight that fight.
But you know why they would never be able to do that, Wally?
Why is that?
Because they're always in debt. When you're in debt, how you gonna fight and do anything like that?
But here's what I'm saying.
Worried about losing your car, being in the street.
I hear you, but guess what though? This is why the changes that we have now took place, because you had the people, the Martin Luther Kings and all of them, willing to lose and sacrifice for the betterment of the future.
But Jordans and Louis Vuitton, the driving a nice car, that's more important in the black community than doing. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you.
Give $1,000 to any 20-year-old kid, 30-year-old. You think he thinks about, let me save 100? He don't think like that.
But that's why I was telling you that our history needs to be changed, right? The issue we tell these kids in school need to be about progress and how to live life. The issue we tell these kids in schools about slavery, how America came out of slavery, and that's it. There's no black history. There should be a black history that the kids are actually learning about slavery in the first 2 chapters, and the remaining 10 chapters talking about the progress we've made and how we need to make the progress. How somebody saved $500,000 or saved $20,000 to invest in something, and over years, the investment is now profitable, is now able to make money and do more projects. These are the stories we need to be having. The guy from Fubu, how did the guy from Fubu start? He was in the back of his truck selling clothes to everybody, and over years, he made profit and he progressed. These are the stories we need to have in those books.
But then what did he do? He sold it.
Yeah, but people sell that product.
Just like Rockaway.
For a lot of money, yes, it did.
But still, but if you're supposed to be keeping it in house, why sell it?
Why sell it? I say that.
If all you're gonna do is build a if all you're gonna do is build a black business to that point, and then you turn around and sell it to the white counterpart, what's the point? Yeah, sure. The guy from Fubu made money, but how does that help the black community?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's this we can talk about. Selling it should be selling to another black entity, not another white entity, or another external entity to keep it in-house into the group. And I mean, people sell things every day. People sell business every day. I really don't want to. I mean, whoever bring the most cash at that point in time might be very more emotional to him because he wants to make that money back. And there are many businesses that are being sold left and right, and they're not people are not really selling those businesses based on, oh, are you Jewish? Are you white? I'm sure they probably look at that once in a while. Like if you're a Jewish man trying to sell another business, the Jewish man comes first. Whoever says the Jewish guy first. So they probably didn't have, the black group to come and say, oh, we want to buy this. And this is where capital comes into play. When we have capital, right, we can do way more. You guys don't think we know what capital is and how important it is in any community.
No, I mean, it's a sensitive topic. That's first. It's a serious topic. That's two. It's not, we don't have the answers, honestly. Like, and it's not just about money. Money is not the answer because, like I said, right now we're the most educated and we spend the most, right? We can also say it's also not education because we're the most educated. It's the proper education. It's us, like Dalento said, knowing some of our history, knowing that we're capable of some of these things. But people also have to understand that a lot goes into keeping Black folks where they are. A lot goes into keeping us at the bottom of the food chain. This is not something that one person is doing, right? And that Black folks get attacked from every single corner. If it's the music that's toxic, if it's what you're watching on TV, right? If it's the food, it's just, they're getting you from different corners. It's like, chemical warfare, biological warfare, it's different types of warfare. People think it's just about, killing each other or whatever. But, if you eat cheeseburgers all day, stuff like that wouldn't even let you think straight. And we know that we also consume a lot of fast food. So it's hard to get Black folks on the same page because we are very, very divided. There are groups of us that are together, but it's not like we're powerful enough to really like affect change. So it's like, are things gonna change in 10 years? Not if we go in the way we're going now. Now, yes, we're growing, making more money and things of that nature. But if we're not moving in a uniform, like we're just gonna be here. I think there was like an Asian dude. I think they estimate like Black folks to have like 0% wealth at about 2000. Is it a 2055 or 35?
Something like that. I know what
something
you're talking
like
about.
that. Yeah. So it's like they must have definitely calculated the growth of the billionaires and millionaires, and still. I mean, we're talking about wealth. Things like it's not just cash, right? Because remember, wealth is not just cash. It's about the properties you own and a bunch of other things.
Assets and everything.
Assets and everything. Yeah. So like the good thing, like you said, Rockaway and Fubu, yes, they're sold to other people. And at the end of the day, you want to hold on to certain things because you want to be able to pass it on for generation after generation. But, we don't know why they did it. That's, we can't really dictate that. Dr. Dre, same thing with Beats, even though I think he still owns a percentage or whatever.
Yeah.
So these things is not easy. They want Black folks to remain consumers because we're the biggest consumers. So right now, even if you own something big, they're going to start throwing money at you. Not because it's big, but because one, they don't want you to have something that big. Right? Like now, we got to find a way to buy it from them, even if they're going to lose money. Just to stop you from controlling, they're gonna do that. So it's
like what
right?
you said.
Rockaway was
like Rockaway. If them young cats would have stuck together, they would have built an empire.
They would have built an empire.
You know what, yo? I loved Rockaway too, yo.
Yeah,
at one point, that's all I rocked.
Yeah,
Rockaway.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, it's tough, honestly. It's a rough road, and even for people like us that are able to have these conversations, there are people who right now are drunk, watching TV. They don't care to listen to any of these things.
Exactly.
And that's the majority of us who don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem.
And here's the thing. See, and I think that's where Dave Chappelle was saying he was envious of the LGBTQ community because they it's kind of like they understand that and band together for the right reason because they're all on the same page of what their end game is. You get what I'm saying?
Also, you got to keep in mind, nobody is trying to tear them apart.
That's true.
Right?
Well, I don't know, because if you ask them, they might feel like somebody said that.
Because it's like, we know there's systematic racism to keep Black folks down, right? Gays and lesbians and so on, right? Right now, they've got more laws than us. Like a gay person or lesbian will probably get promoted way before you do. They're all over the TV shows and everything like that. So they're moving faster, you know, but also Hollywood, a lot of the executives are what? LGBTQ. So they have people in high places that can literally, you know, continue to help them progress. Black folks don't really have that.
But see, that's where it goes into they're on the same page. The reason why I say that is because you have a lot of blacks who are in power and they look down upon us. Like, yeah, them folks, nah, they're all ghetto. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
That's why I'm saying, yeah, that's the they like the LGBTQ community. They're like, yo, I look at them kind of like the Spanish community. Granted, I understand, Vic, there's different factions and everything like that. Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. But if it comes to like a workplace and y'all gotta band together, y'all gonna band together. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna band together. You get it? So yeah. And I see that with a lot of Caribbean brothers too. Caribbean brothers, yo, you find out, yo, this person's Haitian or this person's Nigerian, or you find out this person's this Jamaican. When push come to shove, we'll put our differences aside and band together for a common cause. You get what I'm saying? So that's something like, I don't know, with like Black America, I get it too because of the history, but it's like, yo, I don't know how to find a way to overcome that hurdle, so to speak. Like it's like you said, nobody really has the answer. And that's gonna be something that's gonna be hard to tackle or whatever. But what I will say, man, like watching that Dave Chappelle special, when he was saying basically that he was envious and jealous, I agree with him. I guess everybody got cut. I guess everybody got cut off.
I'm here.
I really agree with that premises that he said that. And I'm like, yo, it's sad because we have so much potential. Like the Black community got so much potential for greatness.
And that's what keeps you in anger too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see all these people bettering yourselves and stuff, and y'all still at the bottom. And it causes anger, man. And I don't understand it. Like I keep telling you, Wally, man, that y'all the first ones on the forefront for the protests and for the agenda. When the agenda go through, y'all get what y'all get the boot.
Yeah.
No, it's true. That's absolute truth. That's the same thing that happened with the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Initially, it was just for Black folks until we let other people in. Before you know it, it's for minorities, including white women and everything else. So no, you're absolutely. Like I said earlier, you know, we just have to understand that a lot goes into keeping Black folks to where they are. Like you said, something happens right now, Black folks are protesting for everybody, right? Something happens to them, not everybody's protesting for Black folks. So a lot of it is, it's a lot, honestly, because religion, for those that are religious, you know, my apologies in advance, you know, but don't take it as offense. Religion ties into it as well, because you have that forgive and forget that was beaten into us for centuries.
I mean that Israelite belief, so I don't deal with none of that. So Israelite thing, you know.
Okay.
You know what? No, go on, Joanne.
Yeah, so even like we get it from the religious angle. We get it from different angles, like, oh no, forgive and forget. You know, your neighbor is your, you know, love your neighbor as yourself. Like, yo, my neighbor don't look like me. My neighbor didn't come from my country. My neighbor didn't go through what I went through. I'm not loving that dude. He's white. He's whatever it is. So we get it from different angles. And, you know, you tell Black folks right now, like, yo, let's band together. Let's only support each other. They'll look at you like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. But if I tell Victor that, he knows damn well he's only supporting people that look like him. He won't even have to think twice. White people, you don't have to think, you don't have to tell them twice. Asians, I tell people all the time, go to an Asian neighborhood. For the most part, you're gonna see Toyotas, you're gonna see Mitsubishi, you're gonna see freaking Acura, because all of those are from Asia.
Yeah,
they're very strict with that. Like, they're not supporting you if you're not from their continent. You know, so us is like, we'd be clueless when somebody says let's only support Black businesses. Like, no, nah, why would I want to do that? Like, that's racist. Oh no, I'm not a Black. Like, what?
Yeah.
Here's one thing I do gotta say. I gotta give credit to white people, because when it came to a lot of fights that Blacks were trying to put up, a lot of white people were supporting. Like I look even like last year during the whole Black Lives Matter protest. If you look at a lot of them protests, you saw a lot of more white people in some of them protests than actual black people.
Yes,
You know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
That's
So
because
so yeah. So I can't, you know, leave white people out because yo, when they feel like yo, this is wrong or whatever the case may be, they do step up and be like, nah, this is wrong. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
but listen, that looks good and it sounds good,
Mhm.
right? But and this is no disrespect to everyone, but if we're gonna do this, we have to do it by ourselves. Because one, that's how we always get infiltrated. We think they're there with us, trying to help
That's
us.
true.
But one, they're undercover agents.
I
They're the
tell you that
ones.
all the time, Wally.
That's true.
It's true. They're the ones breaking
and
the
then we
glass,
owe them
burning
in
down
long run,
buildings,
and then we owe them too. And then when we're done, we owe them, right?
yeah. So
Because now we owe them because they supported us throughout the entire
That's true.
process.
yeah. So if
That's
we're gonna
true.
do this, like yes, okay. And I've said this. If we want to do this physically, we're the only ones putting in the work. Now, financially, if they want to throw money at us to back us, fine. If you want to bail some people out from rioting, fine. But when we protest, then only us need to show up. That's it.
Yep.
It's because
That would be hard, man. That would be hard to do, bro.
listen,
Because sometimes you have to realize, like,
and
you
that,
realize that sometimes when you have,
because it's not meant to be easy. And it's I think
Yeah.
it was, Dave Chappelle might have been. No. Who said that? Who said that? Muhammad Ali. He said he said there's a bag of snakes, right? Oh, you know, maybe 100 snakes in there. 30 of them are good snakes. They don't want to bite me. They don't want to harm me. The 70 are bad snakes. Do I throw a whole bag away, or do I just hope that the 30 that don't want to bite? You know what I'm saying? There's like
Mhm.
can't tell. Even with black folks, some of us is gonna snitch, but at least you can narrow it down.
That's true.
Right? That's why I said that.
Facts.
Okay, great. You want to support us? Fine. Then give us some money. That's it.
That's
We
it.
don't want
Yeah.
you being there. We don't want you fighting for us. That's it. Physically, let us do the work. It'll even feel better. It's like you fighting a dude and somebody helping you out. Did you
Yeah.
really win, or did somebody help you out?
That's true. Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Vic,
Yeah,
it looked like you had to say something.
No, that everything Juwan is saying, that's your name, right? Juwan.
yeah.
Everything he's saying is what I've been telling you the video that me and you did with the.
No. I get that.
I've been telling
But
you for a long time.
no, but
Wow.
it's kind of one of them things how even though we have the conversation, whatever, you'll break it down, but it takes somebody else to break it down to you in another way. And you like, oh, I got it now. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. So that's what it was. Cause like, trust me, I understood everything you were saying, but in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I hear it, but like, why not incorporate if it's gonna be the extra help? And Jawan
Yeah,
broke it
man.
down in a way where
Because-
it's like,
Juwan, yeah.
oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Historically, that's the thing. If black folks study true history, they will understand all of it. Historically, that's what always happens. White folks always come in. Oh, you know, we're here to help. But in the back end, at least they're finding ways to counter everything that you're doing.
Like
Right?
the pilgrims.
man, so
Literally,
guys,
that's history.
I have to leave. Really, I have to leave. I have to drop off the call.
Yeah,
I
we're
got
gonna
some
end
coffee.
this off. We're gonna end this off or whatever. But okay, so
I
I
wanted to
know.
say something.
Okay, yeah, okay, go ahead. Say something. You was gonna say something, Vic.
Yeah, that's why I like that. That's why one of my favorite black leaders is Malcolm X, man. I love
Always.
Malcolm X, man. I love that dude, man. And I really liked it in the movie. When that white lady came up, I think they were coming out of the library or something like that. And she was like, oh man, I believe in everything you're doing and stuff. What can I do to help? And he told her straight out, nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I keep telling black people. Y'all need to send everybody to hell, man. And do ya, man. Do ya. Don't worry about nobody else, man. Because at the end of the day, man, I see it as a Hispanic person. I'm not blind to the situation, man. I see it, man. Everybody jumps. They push their agenda using black people. And when the agenda go through, they don't do nothing for y'all. They don't help you out, man. They turn on you, you know?
Quick, let me just say 10 seconds just to follow.
Go ahead.
He's absolutely right. Look at the whole Stop Asian Hate thing that just happened, right? Black folks were out there protesting, Stop Asian Hate or whatever. Within a month of Biden in office, he signed a bill for them, specifically to Asia.
You know what's crazy? Vic, you remember when that happened, I hit you up and was like, Vic, did you see this? How quick this passed?
Yeah.
So, I get what you're saying. All right.
Now, let me
go on. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. That also links to what Dalento said. Asians are very powerful and they have a lot of money. So they also fund a lot of the, the government policies and all of that. So things move when you have money in the right places. Yeah, we can make billions of dollars, but if we're spending it on Louis and Gucci, we ain't going nowhere.
Which is why I said, if we was to shut it down and be like, we're not spending a dime till we get XYZ, that's pretty much what the Asian community did. They forced their hands.
But there's a lot we need to shut down. We need to shut up hip hop, all those rap talkers, all those calling about gun shooting. I'm against that, but people want to catch vibes and they're cool with it, because they want to catch a vibe.
Yeah.
So that's another topic for another day. But
yeah,
for me, I think that's one part that I do not like and I dislike so much.
All right. So, in conclusion, do you feel the same as Dave Chappelle feel as far as being jealous of all the things that the LGBT community got that the Black people been fighting for years?
I'm jealous of the way they come together, and we are not coming together as much as they are. His message in total, I like his message. I thought it was a funny show, very funny. I think you shouldn't be emotional because you can be compassionate about somebody's feelings, but you can still be able to talk about it and say you don't believe it, right? My view and your view does not mean I dislike you or I hate you. That's what he's trying to say. So I do not hate you, but my view is different from yours. Your view is different from mine. Doesn't mean I dislike you or hate you. That's what I see, and that's how I think about the entire thing.
All right, what's your take on it, Juwan?
I don't know, man. I do think Dave Chappelle was being a little bit funny where he said that I'm jealous. Like,
yeah.
Because we know these people are backed by powerful, rich white people. So of course we're jealous because we've been trying to make moves for years, but we have so much problems and things. But we are getting better, though. It is getting better. It's tiring, honestly. Even my gesture right now, body, like you can tell, like it's a hard journey. But you know what I'm saying? I do my own thing. I speak to people as much as I can, and I like it, but it's exhausting. I like the Dave Chappelle skit, and at the end of it, what did he say? He said, like, you guys haven't been listening to me. You guys think I have a problem with gays and lesbians, but I've really been talking about white people this whole time.
Yeah.
So it's like he said that, and people still stuck with the whole LGBTQ thing. Like, he's literally telling you this is what I'm really focusing on, and y'all still don't get it. So man,
you, and not for nothing, you basically break it down, because basically what he was trying to say, you summed it up, where it's like, yo, you have these white big corporations and stuff that is backing this, and what he's basically saying, I have an issue with this, with how the LGBT community got everything that they want because white people back them.
That's it. If think about it, if this was a Black thing, and then, but Victor also said because Black folks are out there protesting, even though they have to understand that they're Black first before their sexual preference or whatever it is. If it was Black folks that's really, really just behind this LGBTQ thing, this wouldn't go anywhere. It wouldn't, because we know they don't want us to progress. But but people will see it. People, at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want with their lives. You're free to do whatever you want. But I just feel like Black folks, we got to understand that everything is against us. We need to come together and put ourselves first. Like, don't put no other agenda first. Aside, if it don't have to do with your color, that needs to be first, because if you get rights for your color, everything else will fall in line.
Yeah, facts. Victor, you got any closing things you gotta say? Do you feel like, hey, what Dave Chappelle said was warranted as far as him being jealous of the LGBT community?
No,
and stuff?
he's right about what he's saying and stuff, and people should not take it offensive. What I find offensive is forcing little kids and confusing them about their gender. That's something that they should be criticizing. In school, how they're confusing the little kids, letting them choose if they're female or male whenever they want. You heard that, right, Juwan? Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we don't talk about that, but they got a problem with a joke. You could say it's stand-up comedy. You could say nigga all day, and it's okay. Everybody laughs it off. But you say anything about a certain group, it's a problem. I don't have no problem with it, man.
For me, I say this. I agree with everything that he said. He basically spoke the truth, but did it in a comedic way. I don't see why they're putting a hindrance or trying to shut down somebody for a comedy skit, because for the longest, there's been like it's been okay to say whatever when it comes to comedy, whatever. Like there's no filter. That's number one. Number two, I feel as though, again, as much as the LGBT community, they want, you know, all their rights and everybody to appreciate them and, you know, whatever the case may be, you have to also accept that people are going to have their opinions. And me personally, when it comes to, because I said I respect the LGBTQ community, but when it comes to the trans community, I honestly feel people should be able to be identified as whatever it is that they're going to be identified. If you 100% get the reconstructive surgery that you got to get, because there's been a lot of cases reported where people identify as this and then they're doing wrong things from identifying whatever they are, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
So if you're going to identify as this, then be 100% with it. If you're not 100% with getting whatever reconstructive surgery, then you shouldn't be able to identify as something else, because your biological features basically say, no, that's not what it is. And at the end of the day, I'm okay with somebody saying, hey, I like the same sex or whatever. But now we're traveling into a territory where people are trying to play God. And me being a person who, you know, believe in the Bible and everything like that, my religion, like I said, I respect everybody. But when people now try and play God, that's a whole different dynamic as far as, you know, life in itself.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where I stand with it.
Well, for me, all that pussy is like beyond pussy or impossible pussy or something.
It's called buzzy. Buzzy.
Yeah. Oh, your
Juwan,
mic is
man.
muted. Your mic is
Your
muted,
mic is
Juwan.
Juwan.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, that was genius. The way he punchlined that joke.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like,
for real.
it's beyond.
Yeah.
Everybody knows beyond and impossible.
Yeah, facts. Gentlemen, I know y'all got places to go, things to do and people to see, or people to do and things to see, whichever one works. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this episode. We definitely gotta do this again. This was a deep conversation. I know we went off topic a couple of times, but it is what it is. So, gentlemen, this was a pleasure, and we definitely got to do this again. That's gonna do it for this episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
It's a matter of opinion.